Hey guys, Jon Clark here. I'm going to be recording a solo episode today, talking more on the tech side of things. With 10 years of software experience and all the experience we have at the optimization specialist, really wanted to focus in more on software applications. And today I'm really going to be talking to franchisors, and we're going to be looking at three really important pieces of software that you need as a franchisor, and really how that can help you help your franchisees succeed and set up success there. And so first, let's dive into the first one, and we're going to look here at a CRM or customer relationship management. Now, one thing we found is that only one out of four businesses are really using a CRM to its fullest. And what I mean by that is sometimes they take a spreadsheet and drop it into this really nice CRM software, and they pretty much just use it as a glorified spreadsheet. And I want to go over really all the power that comes out of a CRM and make sure that you are utilizing it to its fullest. So at the foundation, a CRM really is where you're going to be storing all the information on your leads and your current clients. As a franchisor, obviously this is you trying to sell more locations and trying to understand who are your tire kickers, trying to understand the different stages along the way, maybe when you're going to be handing over that FDD, and just watching them progress from I'm interested in potentially learning more about your franchise all the way up to I'm ready to sign on the dotted line. And so understanding that is key, because if you're talking to a lot of leads, if you have a really attractive offer as a franchisor, you want to make sure that you understand where all those people are so things aren't falling through the cracks. As a potential future business owner on the franchisee side, it might be the first time that I'm ever investing in business, so I am very nervous to be investing tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in a business. And so I want to make sure that the person I'm partnering with is going to be there for me the whole time. And so if there's drop in communication, that might be a red flag. Even if you're busy doing other things as an owner, I want to make sure that you are bringing and giving me as much attention as possible. So CRM is really going to help with that. And then looking at a pipeline, you're going to understand how many different clients are in those different stages and make sure you kind of track as we go along the way. One thing that we did with a franchise client of ours was we actually added values to each of the different stages, knowing that when they first submit the form, they're probably only worth 10% of that franchise fee. But as they progress from left to right, the chances of you getting that franchise fee are a little bit higher. And so we did math. Actually, the franchisor did math on this, but we knew that on each stage of the pipeline, you basically improve the percentage. So that way, if your franchise fee is $40,000, maybe the interest form, they're worth $4,000. If they book a call, now they're worth maybe $5,000. Then if you're sharing the FDD with them, maybe now they're up to like the $20,000, because you're getting closer and closer to that reality of them becoming a franchisee. And so that's kind of the first step. That's the very basic. Almost every CRM out there should definitely have a pipeline, just so that way you can keep track to know where everybody is. But from there, I think it's really powerful to make sure that you have automations. And so with this, again, I know there's some tire kickers out there. They go and fill out all the interest forms on all the different pages. And then I've seen it where the owner has to manually reach out afterwards, which could take some time. And again, as a potential franchisee, I want to make sure that that correspondence, that communication is as quick as possible. And so what we did in this case is using our CRM, the optimization toolkit, is as soon as they submit that form, we automatically send an email and say, hey, thanks, we'll be reaching out soon. If you'd like to schedule a call with us, click on this link. Takes them to a calendar booking, just like a Calendly. And so immediately they can kind of already take action and they can get on your calendar, which, as we know, booking a call is going to be a lot more powerful than just like back and forth messaging, right? Like, you want to understand a little bit of who they are. They want to understand a little bit of who you are. So having a CRM that kind of can automatically send those emails out, which is good. And then that calendar integration is great, because you don't have to have the 5 emails back and forth to make sure that you're both available at 2:00 on Friday. So that's a really key piece. And then inside of the CRM, making sure that when you're looking at a contact record, that you're taking all of the different notes, you're tagging them appropriately, you're understanding that they were somebody that booked a call versus somebody that didn't. You have all of the answers that they submitted on the form. That's another thing we like about the toolkit personally, is that rather than doing a Google form where all of those answers are stored somewhere else and then you have your CRM, if you can have a form tied into your CRM, then all that information will be tied directly to the contact. So basically, any interaction you have, text messaging, emails, phone calls, if that's all tracked through your CRM, you or anybody else in your team, if you're starting to build a sales team, can really start to understand more of what's going on. And so that way, maybe if you take a week off, you can come back in and understand all that back and forth communication rather than trying to catch up with your team. So making sure that every communication is tracked through there, every answer that they give, all of your notes are in one location, makes it really easy. And then you can kind of go back. And then there are those tire kickers that are submit a form today, and they might not be interested today, but maybe 6 months from now, things have changed and they are interested. Having them in there and having them tagged appropriately, and potentially having an email sequence that follows up with them. That was what we did with Evolve Franchise, is that if they don't book the discovery call, we send them an email about once every 3 or 4 weeks, just reminding them like what the value of the franchise is, staying on top of their mind. So if they are debating between multiple franchises at the same time, that one, you're staying top of mind, and two, you're continuously pushing that value that doesn't require a phone call. So continuously sending that value is good, staying on top of the inbox. And then as things change, as if you maybe potentially have different offers or as new things come out, that's going to be really powerful. Now, on the flip side of this too, all these features are great. In certain circumstances, such as this recovery lab that we did, Evolve Lab, they use the CRM at each individual location. And so we made this turnkey, and essentially they have an ad partner, and those ads direct them to a landing page, and then a person at this lab might say that they're interested in a free day pass or a free guest pass. And so they'll fill out the form, it goes into the CRM, we have drip campaigns out there, automated communication, we have pipelines to track where every single one of those lab members were, and we were able to convert 200 members before they opened their doors. So if you've ever signed up for one of those pre-launch programs, I know my kids went through it with KidStrong, you know that the more interaction, the better it's going to be, because if you just send one message, then the chances of them responding are a little low. But if you continuously stay top of mind, again, great. So we built all of these automations out. So now when this franchise is looking and talking to potential candidates for locations, we have a turnkey marketing system that they don't have to worry about. And it comes up in conversation all the time of like, hey, we bid out this full thing. We can get you 200 members signed up before you open your doors. And the new franchise owner doesn't have to worry about that as much. They're worried about construction, getting the word out, all these different things. And so as a franchisor, you have this great advantage and basically say, I've got you taken care of. You can worry about all the construction pieces and just all of the hiring, all of the craziness that comes with opening up a new location. We can manage on getting those people in the door. Now, this doesn't do well. There's no need for a CRM really for a QSR location, but definitely at the franchisor level, you always need a CRM. At the franchisee level, depending on what you're going there, home services is another great example of building that perfect system. So if you're a landscaping franchise and you want to make sure that you're capturing those leads, nurturing those leads, looking to convert them to customers, all the communication, things like that, pre-build that for all of your franchisee locations. And then as you grow, you can update it so that they get all the updates and basically they don't have to worry about the technology side of things. A lot of times business owners might not be technically savvy. They're very business savvy, but they might not want to learn all the ins and outs of this technology. If you pre-build that for them, that's one less thing they have to learn. And that gives them more time focusing on growing the business, which then also means more money in your pocket. Now, let's transition over into project management software. Now, again, this isn't always the case for every type of franchise out there, but if you are a franchise that is more in the business services or even in the landscaping side of things, depending if there's projects, basically anytime that you are providing a project with a due date to a client, project management is going to be key for managing it. And even at the franchisor level, having the project management yourself, like a ClickUp or a Monday, is great for working with launching new locations. And so in here, one of the things that we do is understanding when we launch a new location, what are the 25, 50, or 100 things that we want to cover for each location. And so we have that all templated out. And then when a new location launches, we automatically copy and paste all of those templates. We can do due dates based off of that too. So if we launch today, we know that construction might start 2 months out. So it'll adjust the date 2 months from today. And then you have all of those different assignments. You can put it into different categories. We did that as far as like there's there's if you want to have different phases maybe of like the pre-construction, during construction, and post-construction, making sure that there's a lot of all the different type of documents that need collected. And you can invite your new franchisee to that project management software, assign all of those items to them, and they get all the automated notifications of like, hey, this is due in so long. You guys have one central location to talk about all the to-dos left over, rather than a bunch of emails back and forth like, hey, did you get that form ready? Hey, are you ready for construction? Hey, just want to let you know 3 weeks from now we should really start looking at building a website. All of that can be pre-templated, and then when you launch and invite them to it, they have access to that. And if you're both working out of there, really cuts down on the communication. They get alerted when things are due. And again, launching a new location, they're going to be very busy. You're going to be very busy. So if you can leverage that technology to manage all of that, then that cuts down on the communication and just saves everybody a bunch of time that we already are thin on. So project management is critical, I think, at the franchisor level. But if you have a location, again, maybe more on the home services side, they might want to manage like big projects. And again, you can templatize all of that. So if it's the same steps every time that you do a project for somebody, if there's onboarding or anything like that, again, this is more on the business services side. This is how we do ours when we bring clients on. We just know that if I do a new CRM implementation, there's 25 things that need to be checked, and I already have it assigned out, and it's a lot easier for me rather than trying to think about it somewhere, having it in a weird Google Doc somewhere. So project management is really key, whether you want to have it at the franchisor level or have it built out for the franchisee level, and it really helps them stay organized and getting all of the team in one location. Lastly, let's look at learning management systems. So one of the biggest things about franchises is making sure that you're training and that every location understands exactly what it takes to succeed, and making sure that they're doing all of those things properly so that they don't have to figure it out on their own, or they don't go kind of rogue and start doing things that aren't part of your brand, or they start introducing things that you've tried before. You don't want them to fail on their own. You want to guide them as quickly as possible so that they succeed and bring in some great revenue, which then leads to you bringing in great revenue. And there's a lot of learning management systems or LMSs out there. Some of them are a little bit more complicated than others. If you are an emerging brand and you only have, let's say, less than 10 locations, and paying $500 a month for something expensive is just overwhelming because it takes a long time to get all the videos uploaded. You're spending a lot of time just populating and filling all the different courses and stuff in your LMS, and that's detracting you away from actually helping your franchisees. So it's critical to have some type of documentation somewhere, as we all know. You have the operations manual, you have all these different things, and depending on the LMS, like sometimes you can upload documents, sometimes it's more video based. What we recommend and what we've helped some franchises build out is a ClickUp implementation. So this is kind of great because you're already using ClickUp as a project management system potentially. But ClickUp also has a great setup because it has an AI brain. So if you copy and get all of the details into a knowledge base, you can use that AI brain and ask it like, how do I open up a location? Or what are the things that I need in order to start opening day? Or like all the things that are in your operations manual that can be tens or hundreds of pages long, all of that can be indexed, and you can just ask the AI just like you would ask the franchise owner. And so this is great because rather than sending you an email of like, hey, how do I do this? Because they don't quite know how to navigate the operations manual that's over 100 pages long, they can ask this AI brain this and they have access to it. And then as you update it, you can make the updates immediately. You can upload videos in there. It's great because you can have documentation and videos at the same time. Now, the only thing that is a little bit different about ClickUp, I will say there's one caveat, is like if you're a stickler for understanding who's completing what, there's not really tracking like there would be in a more robust learning management system. Now, again, if you're under the 10 locations, you might not be as worried about that. You could definitely create some type of quizzes or something outside of that, in a Google form, or actually you could even do a ClickUp form. But if you wanted to do some type of quizzing just to confirm that they're viewing all of the different documents they can, there's also ways that you could create tables to mark so that they could update that they did the thing. Again, there's obviously a little bit of a trust needed there. But for me, if you're going to be having ClickUp for your project management system, leveraging that in the beginning for storing all of your videos and documentation is great. And basically, because ClickUp gives you the great ClickUp docs that allows you to link out to external videos, you can host those videos on Vimeo or YouTube, private, unlisted on YouTube. It allows you to embed it. And then what we've also done is we could just get a transcript of that video, copy and paste that into the knowledge base. And then again, now it's indexable. It's able to be indexed by the AI knowledge base, and you can ask it questions. So it's a really great mixture of things. I think sometimes a big LMS can be really overwhelming just because you have to create all these modules and all the different lessons within a module. You have to upload videos and all this documentation, where you're probably kind of creating a draft like this in a Google Doc or some type of Word document. And so if you could just do that directly in ClickUp, it's a lot quicker, and it gets the point across that, like, here's all the information you need. As a franchisee, I want to make sure that I have full access and can basically get an answer to any question that I have. So the more information that you put inside of ClickUp, the better. You can even set it up to be like an intranet where you can have different links and have like a landing page that says, hey, if you're just getting started, pay attention to these 6 articles. If you're in the middle and you're in construction phase, look at these 5 articles. So you can really take that operations manual, depending how that looks and how that's built out, and almost just copy and paste it and import it directly into ClickUp. And so that's searchable. And then again, more on the training side of things, those are going to be videos and more of how-tos. You can have that separated out. So in one single location, a new client or a new location has access to all of that information. So it helps save money too. Again, like, starting a franchise is very expensive. So if you can save money and basically double down on one of your pieces of software, that's going to be great. So we highly recommend that. So with that, really, if you as a franchisor are launching and you're looking at all these different opportunities out there, all of the different pieces of software that you could be tracking, whether that's for you to grow the franchise itself or to help your franchisees grow their locations, we're really looking at these 3 big tools. And really, from a individual software, we might be looking at 2. So a CRM, again, we want to make sure that it is able to track those customers, that we can track all the information inside of there. We have a pipeline in there to track all the different stages of where every lead is. We have automations to send out the communication. That's critical. We want to make sure that you can automate that communication out so we can kick off that communication as quickly as possible, engaging with that client as much as possible, and it's tracking all of that communication inside of the CRM. Project management, again, recommend ClickUp or Monday, depending on how you're looking at it. We love ClickUp just because, again, it'll lead here into the learning management system, but you want to make sure that as you launch a new location, you have a repetitive list of tasks that makes it consistent across things aren't being lost. You can bring in your new location so that they can see all things that are assigned to them, and there's less communication back and forth and things aren't getting lost. Especially if you have 10 different email threads going because you're talking about 10 different things, it's very easy to lose track of something, especially things that have deadlines. So inside the project management system, set those due dates, making sure that a month out, this is going to be due this month, this is going to be due the next month, and you can get ahead of it. And then learning management system. You want your locations to be as up to date on the operations manual as possible so that they can have the answers to all their questions and they're not bugging you as a franchisor. But you also want to make sure that from a training perspective that they have access to that, or all of the employees at those locations have access to it. The other great thing I didn't mention with ClickUp is you get to create these different spaces. So there's the public space that everybody will have access to, which will be like the corporate training. But then if your franchisees want to add additional training that might be unique to their location, or they just want to, enhance the documentation that's out there, they can add their own forms of documentation. And again, it's all in the same spot. They can add their employees as a guest, or you just have a single login for those people so that way that they have access to things. But it really trims down on everything. You don't have to pay, the hundreds of dollars a month for a whole new learning management system that's going to take you at least a month to set up with all the details, because you got to break down and record all these different videos into different modules with all the different documentation. And typically, as long as you can put it into article form and how to, and it's searchable, and then ClickUp it is using the AI brain, your franchisees are really going to thank you for it, and it makes their lives a lot easier, which then makes your life a lot easier. So we love all 3 of these. Definitely big on the CRM and the project management system. At the optimization specialist, we're really just trying to make sure that you have an end-to-end solution. You don't want your locations getting stuck in the technology. You don't want them having a bottleneck because they don't have the right piece of software. You want them getting set up as quickly as possible and as knowledgeable knowledgeable as possible so that they can do the best sales, they can get up and running. And the more information and ease of access you have to that information, the better they're going to do and the better you're going to do. So making sure that these technologies are in place are going to be critical, I think, to scaling your franchise. And they're going to thank you for it. And it potentially helps you sell more locations. Having that turnkey solution of a CRM that leads into project management and just letting those locations know, like, hey, we've got you covered here. If you are a type of franchise that could use a CRM for sales, like a health and wellness location or a home services business, then like having that all built out for them. So all they have to do is kind of show up, and it has the automations to automate the communication. Plus you can kind of check in and use that software and understand everything. It's going to be great because it's consistent across your locations. As you continue to add enhancements or as the businesses grow or you learn new things, you can make those updates immediately and your locations don't have to worry about learning all this new technology. And so if you need help with this or you want any more information on this, reach out to us at theoptimizationspecialist.com. Be more than happy to jump on a call with you and kind of walk through things. I think sometimes we just buy whatever's on the shelf and don't really think of how the different pieces of software are going to integrate with each other or how they're going to be used. And in some cases, like the flashy things are like, it does all the things for franchises. And like right now, if you're an emerging brand, you might not need all of that. I always use that analogy that, Ferraris are worth what they cost, right? Like the price tag is definitely worth it, but I don't really need a Ferrari to get to the other side of town. I can do fine with like a Honda or a Hyundai. So depending where you are right now, maybe you don't need that over the top sales system with all the different location mapping and all this and that. You just need very simple software that people can use and that you understand and that you can very quickly customize and hand over to your location. So if that is where you are in your franchise or your business journey, reach out to us. We'd love to help you out, create that system end to end so that way we can easily deploy that to new locations. You don't have to worry about the technology piece of things. We'll get them all set up and then you guys can focus more on the construction and all of the crazy paperwork that it takes to get a franchise from signature all the way to opening. But until next time, appreciate it. Appreciate you guys listening to me on this solo episode on the tech side. Christy and I will be seeing you soon in our next episode. Thanks.